Hi friends. So let's do some hands-on coding on Angular. So this is a very important and most frequently asked interview question, that is create a counter. Okay. So how will you create a counter? You know the basics, you know the theory, but sometimes interviewer wants you to check your hands-on knowledge or practical knowledge. So let's learn how to make a counter. So I'll teach you to create a counter, simple counter with buttons, increment, decrement. Apart from that, by using a progress bar and then using a spinner. So it will be a very fun video. So let's get started. So now for creating a counter, so just wait a minute. So pardon this, yeah. So now, because we will be creating one progress bar and one mat spinner, so for that we need Angular material on with us. Okay. So Angular material is needed. So you need to install Angular material. And then you need to import these two, import mat progress bar and mat progress spinner. These two are from Angular material library. Okay. This is clear. If you don't use this, if you don't import this, it won't work, it will cause errors. Okay, so you need to import. I have already imported because I will use in nearby future when we will write our HTML code. So now let's start it. So what we are making a counter. So what we need a count. So let's give a type like number. Okay, and let's give the value initially 0. So now we are making a simple counter first of all. So we will create functions for simple counter. Okay, so we can say simple increment. Okay, simple increment. So now in this function, what we want to increase this like this. We were creating simple counter. Okay, now, in increment, we need to increase this count. Okay, this is for your current. Okay, this is for current object. So I am saying that increase this count only by 1. If you want that your count should increase by 2 every time, then you can do like this. Okay, wait a minute. Equal to. Okay, this is the right way. If you want your counter to increase every time by 2, but here we are doing by 1. So I'm simply doing this. Now simple decrement, and I will do what? Decrement it by 1. Now one thing I can also give one check, that if my this dot count is below 0, then what should happen? Should this decrement every time? No. I want that only decrement when it is greater than 0. Then only decrement this. Okay. So I can say this. Okay, that you can prettify it later. Just I'm doing this so you don't get confused. Okay, so because you might be habitual of this, so yeah. So I'm saying that only decrement when it is greater than 0. Okay, so this is done. Now let's create for our progress bar only. Okay, so I'll say progress value. Oh, it automatically writes. This is the AI. Okay, so I'll explain you that progress value I have given 0 initial value. Now, if I want to increment, then I have set the limit that it should only increment when it is less than 0. If you want, you can remove this. And now I am incrementing it by 10. Why? Because I can set 20 also, but if I'll increment it by 1 only, na, then it will be difficult to keep an eye that is it actually increasing, because it is a progress bar. Similarly for the decrement also. Now let's do for your progress mat spinner. Okay. Okay. So now this is also simple. What you need a spinner. Okay, show spinner. No, it's like spinner value. Okay, so I'm taking spinner value, and it's advised that you should follow camel case. Okay, for good programming, for good development basically. Okay, so I'm doing this, giving it number type, and again I'm following the same, that spinner increment function. Okay, now here also again we will do the same thing, that if my this dot count is less than 100, I will do what, I will increase my spinner value by 10. Okay, now spinner decrement function. So now here I want to decrement. So again, if it is less than 0, then I don't want to decrement, and if it is greater than 0, I want that it should definitely decrement. Okay, so here I've given 10, I've given 20, and now it's normal 1. So now let's go to our HTML part and learn how we can show these values. Now for better CSS, for our screen to look good, I have written some CSS. If you want, you can take screenshot of the CSS, or if you want, you can comment down for the link. I can provide you with the code. Okay. So this is just to make our page look good. Okay. Now the main part. Now I hope that you have seen my data binding video, where I've explained your Angular's data bindings very like briefly, so that you don't get confused. So now simple counter will use your interpolation. Okay, I hope you all know what is interpolation. If you don't, you can watch my video. So now let's create a div. Now for CSS, I am giving my class name counter. I have already shown you, so don't get confused at why we have this. This is just for my good CSS part. Okay. Now I will create my counter. So let's give heading that it is what, it is a simple counter. It is a simple counter. Okay. Now what I want to display my value, right? If I want to display my value, so I need to use what, I need to use interpolation. And how interpolation works, like this, because count was the value, so I want to display this count. So to display dynamically the value coming from your .ts file, your TypeScript file, I want to display it where, in my HTML, in my UI. So I'm using interpolation. And how we use by these two curly braces. Now let's keep it in p tag. Okay, let's keep it in p tag so that it appears in our next line. Okay, now we want buttons. We want buttons for what? For incrementing and decrement. So here I am using what? Event handler. And this is also known as event binding. Okay, so click, and now name of my function was simple increment or increment? Simple increment. So I will call my function that whenever click happens, simply use my simple increment function. Now let's give name to our button increment, and same thing goes on for your decrement. Okay, decrement. Now we can add some CSS class. I have created one button class also. Yeah, button group class. So I should use this. Otherwise my CSS won't good look. So simply add here a class. Or you can do one more thing. Just for better, you can add one more div. Okay. and here you can give class equal to, I have copied my this, and I will give these buttons inside my button. Okay, so yeah, this is now created. This is what a simple counter. Okay, so now we want to create a progress bar. So same thing we will do. So let's simply just copy paste first of all, because only minor changes are there. That here we will use what? Property binding. Okay, so again you should know what is property binding. So now here it is a progress bar. Here we are creating a progress bar. So you now count. Here our count will become what? Yeah, you guessed correctly that it should be what? Progress value. So put here your progress value. Progress value. But tell me, will it work here like this? No. Why? Because here I don't want this. I want what? Mat progress bar. So there we should interact, right? So here we will use what? We will use our, this should be removed. Okay. So now here we will use property binding. Okay. So now what I will do, I will use a mat progress bar. So we will use mat progress bar. What should be the mode? Mode should be determinant. Okay. And this is how you will set your value. Now here this count is not your value that should be changed. Your is progress value. So this is how your mat progress bar would work. And this is your property binding. This is your property binding. I have given mode what? Determinate. So this will work. But now we should change our what? Functions, right? Otherwise it will not work like we wanted. It will simply malfunction and we will get confused. So this is how it should work. Now similarly we will copy and we will paste it. And now we need to create a spinner. Now if we want a spinner, okay, so I will give the heading spinner pro counter. So here what should be? Not bar. It should be mat progress spinner. So now if you are wondering that what are these, are the inbuilt, okay? Inbuilt, which are coming from your Angular material library, okay? So don't get confused. For this only, mat progress and spinner, we have installed and imported. After installing material, we have imported this modules. Okay, progress bar module and this progress spinner. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, so mat progress spinner. Now here progress value should not be there. Value should be spinner value. Now here our function is what? Increment. Here is spinner increment, and then here it is what? Spinner decrement. Now one thing is that the spinner, I want that it should be in center. Will it be in center? Let's see. Save it. Now save it. Yeah, npm start, or you can do what? Npm start, or you can do ng serve. Npm start will also at the end boil down will be to ng serve only. Okay, so see that npm start, we have running this application. So let's see, will it work or there is any error or something. I think my progress spinner, why it is saying that it is not used. Uh, we have used so we need to debug mat progress bar, mat progress spinner. Let it first run it, then we will see. Yeah, it is working, right? So we can see that if I am incrementing, so the simple counter is working fine. Okay, like we wanted. Now this progress bar is also working fine. Yeah, you can see. Now the spinner, yeah, the spinner is also working fine. Okay, see. Now if you want, you can do one more thing. If you want to see the value of this progress bars now, so oh, what is happening here? Okay, so we can use here also, we can use what are this interpolation thing. So this I wrote just to make you understand, but we don't need it. So we can do that. We can also display your progress value. Okay, so it should be like better, and here also we can do the same. But we saw something that our spinner was not in center, right? So what we can do, we can add in the spinner, we can add some margin. Okay, margin should be 0, but it is not like I wanted, so I think we should give style. Wait, what happened? Yeah, style we should give. So we should do what? We should add some margin. It should be 0 and the auto. Okay, I think this should work. Let's save it and then go back. Yeah, so it worked fine. Okay, so we can see initial values. Like right now it is in 20. If I'm incrementing, we can see that it is incrementing by 20. See clearly. If I decrement, it would become 40. Yeah. Similarly, in counter we have added what? By 10. Decremented by 10. 0. 10, 20, 30. So it is working fine. I hope you now have some knowledge about this counters and how to create counters with different approaches, and with these progress counter, spinner counter, and the simple counter thing. And you are now able to understand that where interpolation is used and where this property binding is used. So now you are aware, so you can do and crack your interview. So guys, just go and crack it. Thank you.